Hey everybody, it's your girl Bunny. To all of my returning subscribers, hey, how you doing? And for those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. Kick your feet up, subscribe to this family-friendly channel, and don't forget to click the notification bell so you don't miss any posts. Also follow me on Instagram at the same profile name so you don't miss the sneak peeks of what's coming up next. In this video, it's Ready to Love, Season 4, Episode 6, entitled Opposites Attract. I give a full episode recap with photos offset to the side, and then I give my review at the end. No need to dig around. I have all of the minute marks in the comments. It's all coming up next. We are back for another week of Ready to Love. Last week we took a little break, but we're back in full effect. Tommy lets the ladies come in and settle down, and they kind of laugh and joke at the fact that they're all wearing silvers or black to this ladies' meeting. The ball is in the ladies' court this week, and now it's time to think about what to focus on for this week before eliminations. Tommy says that there are connections that are getting stronger and hugs that are getting a little longer, but last week was pretty tough because we had two women that went home last week, and now once again it's time to switch things up because we're halfway through the process. Envision yourself with your first pick, ladies, and imagine a meaningful relationship. But a lot of you, keeping it real, are in unsuccessful relationships because you date the same type of guy. So explore your options, and the ladies are pretty open to the idea. Alexis goes on a date with Ron, and he was her second choice. The first choice was something that she had to think about and says, I gotta weigh my options, so let's go with Ron. They've had a lot of phone conversations, but they just haven't went on a date. Before they start their date of miniature golf, Ron scoops her up with a very powerful hug, and she likes that. She loves the physical contact when he teaches her how to play golf. She's a spiritual person, but Ron says, hey, most of my life I've been kind of living like a rock star, and maybe you're the person to kind of ground me in that a little bit. She likes that things are different and they're not the same. She's also interested in AJ, but feels he's more of the quote-unquote normal type. She's still anxious to get to know more, and he's still the number one. He is looking for something that's more meaningful. So she asked him, hey, it was just assumed in the way you were talking that Chris is still your number one pick. Are you looking for a trophy wife, or are you looking for something to grow with? Ron has a concern that he doesn't want to get his vibrations or anything that he's saying to be a little bit off. So she's open to the fact that they can talk a little bit more, and to end the date, he physically carries her away. Amber is open to having a date with AJ and admits that she didn't really talk and have any connections with AJ because he gave off the vibes like he was a playboy. And AJ is just feeling the same way. Like, after all of this time, they've never really had a conversation. He's open to it and wants to get the chance to get to know her. She tells him that, she's digging Chris and Ron. He's like, wow, after all this time, it's unfortunate we haven't talked and I'm not on your list. And a lot of people go from number ones to the bottom, so maybe we should just talk a little bit more. And he feels bad that they haven't talked. Amber expresses that he comes off as arrogant and unapproachable. And he's a little flustered with that because he in no way, shape, or form wants people to feel that way about him. He's upset that confidence somehow is coming off as arrogant, but that's just not who he is. Even with the conversation and the openness, Amber is still not digging AJ. Chrysanthemum and Chris have their date, and they feel kind of awkward talking to each other, but they're both open. This is the week where they have to date people that they usually wouldn't talk to, and Chris with the K has to admit that, hey, I wanted to approach you, I wanted to talk, but the vibes just weren't there. And in a production clip, he says that he just chucked it up as maybe a loss, and that's just somebody that's just not gonna connect with me. She talks about how her mom got pregnant by a guy in Italy, and she just wanted an Italian baby, so she really didn't have that connection with her dad. And she's just now getting to the point only a couple of years ago and getting to meet him and develop some sort of relationship. Her not having her father in her life and her mother not being a really emotional person, she's kind of emotionally numb to everything as well. And she doesn't do relationships because she doesn't connect sometimes. And he says, wow, it's kind of a coincidence that, I got to know my dad, but, there really wasn't anything there. And before I knew it, he passed away. So it's just this really awkward feeling. And he says, I'm just going to be honest with you, Chrysanthemum. I think this whole situation and this vibe is kind of like 70-30. 70 saying, yes, he's a cool person. We're talking and we're chit-chatting. But 30% is just like, nah, like, do you agree with that? She's straight up and says, yeah, I kind of feel that way. But, my first pick is somebody else, and I just got to be real. In the production clip, Chris says that he's still having a connection with Amber, but, it's unfortunate that they didn't have the connection. They both kind of feel like, yeah, they tried, but there's just not anything there. Amber and Joelle meet. Amber expresses that she still has feelings for Chris, but it's open. She admits that there's physical attraction, but there's not anything romantically. Just to kind of break the ice, Joelle jokes and says, let me get your permission to kiss you on the cheek. Because as before, we had the little hiccups here and there with Troy. She says, yeah, go ahead and kiss me on the cheek. That's fine. And before the date's over with, I'll make sure to give you one back. They talk and they share some really in-depth conversations. There's still no vibes, but Joelle kind of breaks the ice again and says, marriage, all of that good stuff, is that something that you're interested in? I mean, I'm a guy that was married for a really long time and I have children. Is that something that you would be willing to accept in your life? Amber really loves children and she's open to that. And she knows that she'll never be the replacement for someone's mom, but anything's possible. He tells her that she's wise beyond her years and it's something that many women don't have, or people, period. So he gives her kudos. They have a little bit more chit chat and Amber's still not feeling Joelle in such a way, but before the end of the date, she gives him a kiss on the cheek and makes a production clip that she feels guilty about kissing him on the cheek because she knows her girl is really digging him. So you can just feel the vibes that she's a little nervous. We got Jason and Liz. They go on their date and he's really excited because every time he sees her, his face just lights up. We see clips of him and her from a masquerade ball and he's moving her hair out of her face and flirting and she's just digging every little thing. He pulls out her seat for her. They sit down, they cheers, and they sip some nice champagne. And Liz is worried, she says in her production clip, because she still has feelings for David, their connection, their spirituality, their beliefs, and she's just gonna keep pressing forward. He's still the number one. She just comes right out and says, well, how do you feel about sex? Sex before marriage, abstinence, all that good stuff. And Jason says, to be honest, I have to admit, having the restraints and not being able to, it's gonna be difficult, but I respect a person's decision. I have to respect their goals and what they're trying to do in life. But she also wants to know, what about age? Does it bother you that I'm a little older than you? And he's like, well, I mean, you older than me, but you don't look it. I mean, you look wonderful. You look amazing. I mean, I know that we have an age difference, and Liz expresses that, hey, I don't want to date somebody for 8 years and all that good stuff. My ultimate goal is marriage. Like, that's what I'm getting to. And they laugh about that because they both agree there's no time for games and they're serious about the same situation. They take a ride and it gives a beautiful view of the city, and you could just tell from their body language that they're really, really digging each other. He moves on in and Jason makes the first kiss, grabbing her face for a very intimate kiss. She loves it. You can tell she got a little rush because her head kind of tilts to the shoulder. She's like, oh. And in her production clip, she says, I was just really, really surprised. I loved it. I was just surprised that he just went in for it. And you can kind of tell there's a little reluctance there because she's thinking about David. She mentions David, but she liked it. She's saying how she really, really liked it, and he surprised her. Kyra and AJ have a date. He greets her with flowers. They're smiling. Kyra says in her production clip, there's still, unfortunately, those vibes from the past that she's trying so hard to let go. They had some unsuccessful dates in the past. They're trying to get there. They're trying to break down the walls of the ice, and they sit down and they start to talk. And Kyra, she starts to try whatever she can do to initiate some sort of conversation and says, hey, how about we play, Never Have I Ever, where if you have, you take a drink. The first question is, never have I ever cheated. And shockingly, they both drink. And never have I ever Have you been in love? And they both drink. She wants to know, in the past, if you've been in love and it was something there, what do you think was the cause of it not working out? He admits to not having really good communication skills. I mean, he thinks that he's, communicating well and said it, but obviously not, because things aren't working out. And she suggests maybe the love language in your communication is not there. I mean, there's clearly something going on to where you're just not communicating what you want. I mean, I don't know. And then you can just tell the energy completely changes. And Kyra says in her production clip, everything that I try to do, everything that I try to say, something happens to where emotionally there's something there. But communication is just jumbled up. And it's just not working. AJ lets his guard down and apologizes for that energy. He explains how he was a child of a single parent and he was the oldest, so he kind of learned independence and being a loner very early. And as he grew up, he just went to the groove of his own tune pretty much and kind of stayed to himself, and admits that this process has taught him that he needs to communicate even more. But he's willing to just share any and everything that needs to be discussed. And his past relationship, the communication just wasn't all that great. Kyra really likes the fact that he's being more open and honest, and tells him that he's been in the top 3 for her since the beginning. And she even says to production that this has shown me a different side of him and has let me kind of open my eyes to maybe wanting to get to know him more, and tells him, let's just make a pact that if we get to know each other more and in the future, that we'll be more open and willing to talk. And she even allows him to kiss her on both cheeks. So maybe something's brewing. Diedrich and Vinicia go on a date, and he tells her, well, I like you because we have some sort of connection and I could see myself with someone like you. Now, with everything that goes on in your everyday life, I mean, what's your normal schedule? She explains that I'm pretty busy, in between choir practice and taking my children to different practices. I mean, it's pretty busy, but I make time for what's wanted. And he also wants to know, what's your expectations of being a man? Because being a man and what you want could be different in everybody's mind. So what it is that you want? And she explains, leadership, being a man, and depending on who you are, I mean, that's what I would want. And I can't tell you what to do because we're just getting to know one another and we need to have more conversations. I mean, that's what we're here for. He wants to know, you are kind of pushy and tough, but she doesn't see herself as pushy. She's just a no tolerance type of person. She's a mom and she does everything on her own. She doesn't expect a man to pay all of her bills, but if he can pick up slack as a man and have that leadership in the relationship, she's all for it. He even says that he's lost his appetite and he's even kind of scared to talk to her because she seems kind of tough and he doesn't know how he feels about that. She can automatically tell that he's not the guy for her because he has this kind of resistance to strong women and has even expressed that. She doesn't like that at all. Like, what's the hesitation? He's lost his appetite and offers to walk her to her car. The ladies meet with Tommy at the ladies' lounge. It's time to get the notes from everybody and how everyone is feeling. Tommy wants to know how the dates went. Did something change? Did someone go from being number 1 to at the bottom? What's the scoop? Alexis can't wait to go first and says, it's one thing to have a connection with somebody over the phone, but when I met Ron in person, there was a lot of chemistry there. And, he was just hugging up on me and all this other stuff. And, I'm his number 1. Hey, clearly rubbing it in Chrysanthemum's face because we can all kind of tell that Chrysanthemum is feeling some type of way. She isn't really kind of giggling and saying, you go girl, with the other girls. So, it's a vibe and it's an energy. Amber, says with Joelle that she starts to talk about the date. Well, we were eating and he asked permission to give me a kiss on the cheek. And I told him that if it went well, he can earn a kiss on his cheek. And Tommy's like, whoa, wait a minute. Do you realize that you are just gushing and blushing right now? And it's just the vibe from across the table now from Vinicia because she's kind of hurt. Like, girl, you shared a kiss with him on the cheek, and I've had all these dates with Joelle, and wow. I mean, she's saying this in this production clip, and she's just like, I haven't even shared a kiss with Joelle, and she got one. Oh, okay. So, the tension is getting hot. Kyra says that surprisingly, she had a wonderful date with AJ, and it was the best date she's had ever or in a long time. It was romantic, I was eating lobster. It was just amazing. And she says in her production clip that Jason is a safe space and AJ is just this kind of uncertainty. So I just don't know. I'm really, really confused. Liz talks about how great her date was with Jason and how there were even kisses and pecks along the way, and she was just loving the energy. Now we get the evil eyes from Kyra across the table looking at Liz like, hold up, what's going on? And she says in her production clip, Kyra says, well, I'm really, really good with competition, so if I just need to step it up, then that's what's just gonna happen. And it's just like, woo. So it's just, tension you can just cut with a knife, because it's just all over the table. It's all over the table. Tommy wants to know, okay, it's good that you got your feelings and you're taking your notes on everything. Now, who are we not feeling? It's just this kind of like common grounds that a lot of people aren't feeling. Diedrich, and Vinicia says, on the date, he said that he felt nervous. Like, I don't need you to feel nervous. I need you to know what you want and what to discuss and all this good stuff. So I kind of don't like that. Chrysanthemum, says that Chris was cool. They had good vibes, but I kind of see him as like a friend. And Alexis agrees. Same thing about Chris. Amber says, AJ, I'm not really feeling him. It seems like he has this playboy game, and she cuts off. Kyra cuts off like, wait a minute, what you talking about? She's like, wait a minute, hold up. Amber's like, wait, I'll let you talk that way about Chris. Let me finish. So it's just kind of like kind of situation. Like, girl, don't take offense. I'm just answering Tommy's question, and I just really wasn't feeling him. I really wasn't feeling AJ, and I'm not getting any vibes like that. And it's this domino effect of people saying that they not liking him either. Vinicia, Alexis, Liz, all these people, and Kyra has this blank look like, oh my goodness, because somebody who she was really digging, now everybody within the group is saying they're really not feeling him like that. So she's super nervous and is not so jibbity and happy as she was earlier. Now it's time for the most difficult part of the night. It's time for eliminations. It's necessary, but something that they got to do in order to move on. We have Kyra that speaks with Diedrich and AJ and Alexis, and they both sit down. Kyra lets Diedrich know that, the women have been talking, and it's just kind of like an up and down with you. You kind of say you're connecting with somebody, but then at the same time, you're guarded. It's kind of confusing. And he uses as a defense that this is just like a weird kind of situation. It's kind of hard to get to know everybody and develop connections, and you don't know who's here trying to be genuine and who's real. So that could maybe, explain the kind of guarded feeling. When AJ speaks with Alexis, she tells him that, hey, the ladies are saying, across the board that, you really just don't communicate that well. And, you say one thing, but you do another. And he says, okay, well, wait, let me just show you, that I'm genuine. And he pulls her closer and holds on to her. And it makes it more difficult for Alexis to communicate. She's just like, okay, I got to stay focused. This is what's going on. I mean, you're saying that you're digging one person, but are you saying that to everybody? I mean, am I your number one? What's going on? Some women are saying, are you a playboy? The vibes are just kind of all over the place. I mean, what's really going on? We go back to Kyra and Diedrich, and she says, well, the ladies have decided that with everything going on, connections and who they're digging, that you're just not ready to love. And Diedrich is eliminated. We go back to AJ and Alexis, and she says, look, I'm just gonna tell you, you need to get it together and be clear about what you want to know, and etc., because clearly people are thinking some way about you, but they're just not clear on what you want. It's just kind of like this big mystery. So step it up, and the ladies have decided that we want you to stay, so just take that with you. AJ is grateful, and in his production clip he says he needs to step it up, communicate more, be more verbal about what he wants, because it's time to get serious, because they're halfway through the process. And that is the end of the episode. All right, you guys, now it's time for your favorite part of the video, and that is my review. Now, I just saw a lot of comments on Instagram and people saying stuff on YouTube like, what are they talking about? What's up with the OWN network? And what's up with this? And what happened to the episode from last week? When that whole time it was the last episode, they had all of those annoying little pop-ups, that come up on the side of the screen that I cannot stand. Like, can you move all of this big advertisement crap out of the way while I'm trying to watch television? And I think a lot of people naturally just kind of ignore that and don't read it, but it popped up several times saying that it would come back next week, that the next episode would come back next week, and it had the date, and I just think a lot of people just didn't look at it and didn't see it, because a lot of people were really upset. Where's the episode? Oh, y'all got this. Oh, and y'all playing stuff for last week. What's wrong with y'all? And I'm like, what? Are you not reading? You gotta read. Take a look. It's in a book. Read what's on your screen. I can't stand it either, but you gotta read all that. I wish they take all this stuff off, because it distracts me. But I think that's what happened. A lot of people ignore those pop-ups and they don't read it, and they told y'all 30 times during one episode that it was gonna be coming back in another week. So yeah, that's why I wasn't episode. And we got Iyanla Fix My Life. We got the last episodes of that till Iyanla is just saying bye, and she's done. She's not doing it on that platform anymore. She feels that the production is interfering. So that's what happened with the episode last week. So yeah, stop being mad and upset. I need y'all to read. Okay, back to this episode. Now, I've been saying I don't understand what the women are seeing with Diedrich, and I don't understand what the women are seeing with Ron. Is it a competition thing between Alexis and Chrysanthemum, or is it a genuine connection? Tell me why. I got a song for everything. Are y'all just competing for somebody, or y'all really, really digging it? Now, Ron know what he doing too. Scooping somebody up and holding them and stuff like that on the date. Like, come on, son. You know what that is, ladies. You know what that is. The kiss on the forehead, the little lips. Look, I'm 5 feet tall, okay? And first of all, everybody taller than me. But if a man that's real strong scoop me up like that, oh, you already know they do something to the abla, the abdullah oblongata, and the cervix at the same time. So, Ron, I see what you're doing. But are they really getting into these deep conversations and remembering what Ron has been saying? He want a woman that could just stay at the house. All right. He want a woman that can stay at the house, have a kiss, and sit down somewhere while he go out and make the money. Are they forgetting that? Alexis, you got a son, and you willing to have a relationship and all this other stuff. And are you gonna be cool with staying at home? Because if information serves me correctly, with your first marriage, with you being the preacher's wife, it wasn't like you could go to the club. You was staying at the house with the son. So do you think it's gonna be the remix with Ron? He gonna have you with him at the club living a rock star life. Girl, what you think it's gonna be? You talk about you religious and all this other stuff, but you make all of these sexual comments. Do you know what you are doing? Do you know that you're confusing as well? Do you know what you're going through? Do you like the things that life is showing you? What are you gonna do, Alexis? You're confusing me as a viewer. I mean, what's really going on? Is there Mrs. Jackal and Mrs. Hyde in that brain? What's really going on? And I don't think Ron is gonna skirt for your son and be chill and raise a little boy. I don't know, child. I think they're in competition. Chrysanthemum, girl, it need to be you, Alexis, Troy, and Ron, and y'all just need to just go to the Bahamas and wild out. Y'all all need a little loving. That's really what's going on. Y'all really ain't ready to settle down. I've been saying it from the beginning. Y'all want to just take a flight and just kick it. And he go ahead and do the dance. I need to go to the dance. Rock your shoulder to right to the left. I'm gonna look at the video now on YouTube. I want to see that with Usher dancing in that leather jacket with them tight pants. Anyway, it's just what's left with this group. When Tommy said that we halfway through the process, what? I it just seemed like this season was rushed. Like, I don't know if it was a production thing and them trying to hurry up with the pandemic and everything and getting production out, getting the show, because twice in a row they had it still in Houston. You know, if I was the producer of the show, I would have had it in LA, I would have had it in Hawaii somewhere. You know what I'm saying? I would have got a nice mixture of different ages, you know, a lot of parties, a lot of serious moments, a lot of formal stuff, just to have everybody loosen up and talk and everything. This show, I've said it over and over again, this show cannot be called Ready to Love. This show needs to be Married, Divorced, and Ready to Love Again. That's what it should be called, because you have a lot of people that's been married, divorced, and got kids, and they're going back into the dating world. Okay? And then if it is somebody that's younger, the other people that are on the show, they're gonna have to be ready moms or ready dads, because y'all already got kids. I mean, who is the casting director on these shows? They need to call me, because the people that are left. Well, let me move on. Okay, Jason and Liz. Liz, girl, let me tell you something, honey. Ever since you opened up the Meow Mix, now I talked about what the Meow Mix was in the last few relationships. Anytime you present the Meow Mix, which is batting the eyes and showing a little bit of cleave, honey, and a little booty and a little curve and a little curls in your hair, the dogs come out. Because, you know, why must I be like that? They got to chase the cats. And Jason is the dog catcher. Ooh, he want a piece, okay? Liz, you know the deal. You've been in all these situationships and all that. You talking about marriage and all this other stuff. If y'all start dating, he's going to knock the walls from the window to the wall. Him touching your hair and your shoulder and all this other, and you touching his leg. Girl, unleash the beast. Unleash it. If you talk about being, you know, he told, oh, girl, I respect that. Yeah. But he touching all you, girl, you better pray. You better pray. And David is your compatibility match, right? But is he your romance match? You don't want to get with somebody because y'all got a lot in common. That's whack. And David just seemed like the type of guy that want to cry all day and talk about the past all the time. He went into this dating show talking about, well, you know, my future, and she just left. I don't care. I want to know about situations happening in relationships, and I don't care about the other lady. Why we talking about her? Y'all didn't work. So what's I'm just not feeling David. I'm just feeling like his body is being held up with the paper roll scroll in the middle of the paper towels, you know, that little flimsy paper, a little paper towel roll, and not a spine. It's not a spine there. He barely standing up straight. I'm not feeling him. He don't trust nobody. He just seems like he's mature-wise not there. Spiritually, he may be somewhere, but just mature-wise, relationship, living, he just seemed like he would just be too serious and not know how to go to Six Flags and ride a roller coaster. He just seemed like he just, I don't know, ain't got no coof. It ain't nothing else. He gives me boring vibes. You know, not saying I'm a person, I cannot stand clubs. I don't go to clubs. I don't put myself in an environment where it's alcohol. I don't drink. It's not my cup of tea. Okay. But I still know how to have fun. Okay. I don't drink alcohol, but people assume that I've been drinking because I have so much fun and I be lit when it comes to the energy and having fun. I don't get energy and lit and all that from David. I just don't. I get boring. Alexis, girl, was you feeling some type of way when Liz, you know, got a little pecks here and a peck there? Girl, and Kyra, girl, you playing that safety game again. Women, you have got to stop doing that, because every time you think somebody is your safety car and all this other stuff, girl, you're not even on their list. Here it is, Kyra talking about, we know Jason's safe and he's this and I feel safe and he's this and he's my person in my back pocket, but girl, Jason sure wasn't thinking about you when he was grabbing Liz's face on that Ferris wheel. Okay, on the Ferris wheel, honey, he was thinking about, there's a meeting in my bedroom. Doom, doom, doom. Hey, don't be there. You girls, what he was thinking about? Oh, there's a meeting. Let me stop before I get copyright strike, because you know they'll copyright striking for singing. But anyway, girl, Kyra, now you trying to make things work with AJ. Cause girl, everybody else is pulling out a draw 4 on you, Kyra, and you got all of these cards. You had one card with the Uno. But girl, now you got 12 cards, girl. She got nervous when everybody said they wasn't feeling AJ. She was like, oh, snap. Then all of a sudden, Jason got super fine to her. You see how things work? That never works, ladies. You better stop doing that. Listen to your cervix. Listen to your mind. Listen to your vibrations, honey. That's what you want. You don't want somebody safe and boring. You want somebody that's going to challenge you. You want somebody that you want that wants you. Okay? Here she is thinking she had Jason on the leash, just on the leash tied to a tree. Well, girl, he was running in the field having a good old time. Woo! Y'all really upsetting me. Alexis needs to go. She's mothering people and talking to them like they 5 years old. She grinding on people, putting her booty all on folks and making these sexual jokes, but she talking about she religious. Girl, bye. Liz, you do the same thing. Girl, don't be up here acting like you ain't been making that clap. Just make it clap. Girl, you know you've been doing that. Girl, you knew when to pull out that meow mix. You better not be playing with Jason like that. Don't be leading him on. Don't let him leave with the blue skis. All right? Who else? Amber. The guys might select you next week to peace out. Here you are digging Chris, but ain't nobody really digging Chris. Nobody's, I don't think, really feeling you like that romantically. So you might be up next, honey. So let me know what you think. Everybody was so mad that there wasn't no episode last week. I'm like, if y'all don't calm down. Anywho, subscribe. Please like this video. Make sure to share this family-friendly channel. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, y'all, because I'm just not really feeling anybody on this season. Like, at all. It's nobody where I'm like, oh, that is a good man, Savannah. I am not feeling that way. With anybody on this, they're good guys, but when it comes to compatibility, I'm not feeling it. It's just kind of like people are trying to make the best of people who are next. And the people who are really compatible, those people are gone. Like, I keep mentioning Troy and Alexis. They two peas in a pod. Trust me, they are. They looking for the same thing. It's just Alexis don't want to say that because she know people from the church watching the show. But girl, let it go. Let it go. Just stop trying. Stop trying. Leave your comments. We can agree to disagree. I love to see y'all's opinions. Let me know. In the meantime, like this video. Also follow me on Instagram for all the sneak peeks of things to come. And that's about it. Until next time, take care of yourself and each other. Bye.